cooler. We're the only company that runs in the winter because we have heat down below. But they meet with the architects in the winter. They met with them 3 years ago in the wintertime, and they asked him, why did you spend $30 million on the lobby? He goes, well, I thought people would rent it out for weddings and parties. That was in 1996, it's 2024. How many people ever get out of that building? Good guess, 1, 0. I know. It is beautiful. I've been in there twice. Now take a look over here. Looking over here. Look at this building. This is called the Reed. That's our newest residential building. Remember I talked about structural engineering? You guys see the round columns? Those are called caissons. We go 100 feet down below before we build up. In fact, 6 levels of bedrock. And it's very spongy. The next level is private deeded parking. The next level is the grills in the pool. And all the way up are the residential apartments. That's how we build in our city. Now over here to your right, this is River City. What does it look like? Yeah, it looks like the honeycomb. Yeah, the corn cobs, the Marina City, Marina Tower. In fact, you can live on your boat all year round if you're in the marina. They have a bubbler to keep it from freezing. So all the boats underneath this building and inside that marina, they don't have to pull the boats out in October. Every October, these bridges open every Wednesday and Saturday because the boats have to come off the lake because it will freeze. Now, we were supposed to build 2 more of these. It is affordable to live in these, by the way. I did look up. They're very reasonable. They were supposed to build 2 more. They didn't think we had the population to support it. And for years, the only thing over here is 7-Eleven. Now we got a beautiful Target, a British International School, that's a private school, and a new movie theater over here. So a lot of growth has happened here in the South Ridge. All right, you guys want to see that fire where it started? All right, take a look over here. Over that building, the DSW2 sign, you see the wavy antenna over there? Right there as the boat's moving, it's like a radio antenna at the distance. Once we get around this yellow crane, you'll see it again, right there, over that building, that radio antenna. It's like red and white. That's where the fire started. In fact, you guys would know if you drove over there, you would know because it's the Chicago Firefighting Training Facility today. But that's where the Great Chicago Fire started. So it started on October 8th, 1871. Now, people don't realize Chicago gets the most rain in August. Here it is, August 11th. We haven't had a lot of rain. But in June, July, August, September, October, 1871, a big drought in our city. Now, exactly where that antenna is, that's where the fire started. This is an old power plant, by the way. They don't use it. It's starting to deteriorate. I don't know what's going to go there. But where that antenna is, October 8th, 1871, the fire started there. Still today, we do not know how that fire started, but there's 3 myths on how that fire started. The first one is Mrs. O'Leary had a dairy cow farm, and the cow kicked over the lantern and started the fire. We still teach this in 3rd grade here in Chicago, yes. But we do know that one is not true. A New York journalist made up that story to generate sales in a newspaper. In fact, 10 days before he passed away, he owned up to making that story. The second theory is Mrs. O'Leary's son was a gambler. He was smoking cigars and cigarettes, and a spark started the fire. And the third one is a meteor shower hit in Door County, Wisconsin, north of Green Bay. In fact, more acres were burned there. And one hit in Michigan along the peninsula, and one right here in Chicago. Now, when that fire started, it spread. They called it in. They had people on fire watch. They called it in. The firefighters reported. But the wind shifted the fire. It shifted it to the river. People are like, well, if it came over here to the river, why didn't it go out? It's water. Well, let me tell you, in the 1800s, this was our drinking water. And also the railroads. We had the stockyards. We dumped the carcasses in the river. We dumped our raw sewage in the river. We would dump our trash in the river. It was so disgusting, chickens could walk from one side of the river to the other. So when that fire spread to the river, it went through the city like wildfire. It ignited that fire. In fact, our city was made out of steel and wood. 60% of our city burned down. 100,000 people were homeless and 300 people died. Now, how did we put out that fire? Well, the firefighters were exhausted. Back in the 1800s, you had to get a bucket you had to pump the water into the bucket, then horse and carriage it to the fire. So what eventually put out that fire? A rainstorm came and put out that fire today. Then we rebuilt our city, and we're called the second city. In fact, look to your left, we see a sign or a trailer. It says here for 78. In fact, for 3 years, it used to say District 78. And I was like, are we in the Hunger Games, right? I was like, oh, we need to change the name. But this is our newest community. So after that great Chicago fire, we rebuilt. Daniel Burnham, he designed our city. 26 miles of open clear space on our lake. 36 bridges. We have the L train. Why do we call it the L train? Elevated train, right? Underground road. That's all Daniel Burnham, the Burnham plan. But this over here is our newest community, the South Loop we call it. But over there, all those buildings over there, aren't they gorgeous? Yeah, a lot of them residential. They all face Lake Michigan. Now this is going to be our newest community. You can see streets are in there, street lights. We got some stoplights coming up. But what are they going to build here? Well, 2 schools, University of Chicago and University of Illinois, 2 small campuses. They're going to focus on technology only. They want to overtake Silicon Valley in California. Now, in fact, this river, you guys, there are tons of cables. In fact, data is running underneath this river all day long. This river used to zigzag back and forth. In fact, we're heading to Chinatown now, King Tom Park. We dedicated it to them because we brought immigrants in to make this river nice and straight as it is today. In fact, if we keep going down this river, in 30 days, we can end up in the Mississippi. Anybody want to go?
No.
Too far, right? Not enough food and drinks on the boat, I know. Yes. Now, you guys see this bridge coming up? This bridge is going to be a working bridge. It does have to go down once a year to pass inspection, but it's going to get busy. New high-rises, new restaurants, new schools are all going to go over here. In fact, my school's coming up on the right side. Once we get over on the other side of this bridge, you'll see it's kind of a gray dark building, 4 levels, and it has like a blue cube with the American flag in the front. I take the water taxi to work in May and June, and then when school starts, I'll take the water taxi to work. It's a 5-minute walk to my school, which is right there. In fact, I'm on the 3rd floor. I face Soldier Field, and the kids' playground's on the 4th floor. Look at their view behind us. Aren't they lucky? Yes. In fact, it's all roped in so the soccer ball, football doesn't fly off the roof. And my school's only 4 years old, so it's 4th to 8th grade. I teach 7th grade. In fact, I've gotten some trouble when I taught there. It's my 2nd year. I replaced a math teacher. He went out on medical leave. And I know we don't have any teachers, but you guys will appreciate this story. I do get in trouble a lot, and part of it is how do you learn when you make mistakes, right? And when the teacher makes a mistake, the kids really focus because they want to point it out. But 2 years ago, it was March, and Wendella was my first job. When I moved to Chicago, I got to have a fun job. So then I'd come back usually in May and June after teaching, but they asked me to come back in March. And I think I was cranky. They were making me do 3 tours, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 4 hours additional. I get home at 9:30, play, teach, and get back up. And I was trying to teach them square footage. And I was teaching them, and it was like deer in the headlights, right? 14-year-olds, they're like, we don't understand. And I'm like, well, they're like, I go, well, what is it? They're like, it's you. You're not teaching it. Whoa, okay, all right. I'll take that. So I said, you know what? We're going to go on a field trip. They're like, we don't have permission for forms. I said, that's okay. We're going to break 3 more rules. You're going to go get your jacket and cell phone. They're like, we're not allowed to have our cell phone, and we can't wear a jacket in the building. I said, we're leaving. They're like, security. And I said, we wave, single file. We're going to be okay. They're like, okay. So we leave the building. They follow me. We go in our first building, and I asked the doorman, can we come in? I said, I have 20 14-year-olds to come in and calculate the square footage. He said, no, they're not bringing any 14-year-olds in this building. The kids are like, told ya. I'm like, oh no. Go to the second building, they say no again. Third building, I'm running out of time. I leave them on the side of the building, go inside, I reach in my pocket, pull out a $20 bill, go up to the doorman, I give him a Chicago handshake, and he's like, why do you give me a $20 bill? And I said, I need 20 minutes with 20 students in your building to calculate the square footage. He goes, you're on the clock. Get the kids in. We are running around that building measuring. I'm like, you do this, you do that. We come in the middle, we calculate it. We go up to the doorman. I go, what's the square footage? He goes, this. The kids are like, we got it right. I said, you guys did it. Yes, and we're jumping up and down. I look at the clock and keep doing it, and thank you. And I think I had 5 parents. So yeah, talk about real world application in our city. So thank you to teachers. Yes. Right on the horn, right? Now look over here. That train is going to go across this bridge. Look at this. This is the second oldest vertical lifting bridge in the United States. Look at that. Look at that bridge house. Doesn't it look haunted? Here comes the train. Look at that. I know, wouldn't it be fun to do a field trip up there? Ghost stories, right? Today it's all remote control, but that whole thing goes straight up in the air. Where's my people from Minnesota on the boat? Yes, Duluth, Minnesota has the oldest vertical lifting bridge in the United States. And this is Chinatown. What do you guys think? Isn't it gorgeous? And you guys saw we passed the beautiful pagoda, right? Take a picture of that. Yep. You guys can take our water taxi. Go have lunch. There is a restaurant I want to try down here. I have Friday off. I'm excited, so I'm going to come down here. I can ride the water taxi for free. Pretty cool. Who would ever thought you'd take a water taxi to work? Gorgeous, right? They have all kinds of things here on Saturdays and Sundays. All right, you guys walk around the boat, enjoy for the next 10 minutes. I'll put the mic down. Beautiful picture in front of the boat with the flag in the background. Get a cocktail. We got 40 minutes left in the tour. I got a lot to tell you and teach you about our city. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. My name is Justine. Enjoy. Thank you, guys.
1 second. 1 second. 1 second.